Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Wednesday, guys. I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. Got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Wednesday morning, guys. I want to drop this while it's in my spirit after spiritually connecting, and that is the consequences will be major. The consequences will be major. The consequences will be major. That is, when God releases that promise to you, when he opens that door to destiny, the things that you promised him when you were in your wilderness, some examples like, Lord, if you get me out of this, I will never X, Y, and Z again. Lord, if you get me out of this, I'm just going to scream your name to the world. Lord, if you get me out of this thing, I'm going to X, Y, and Z. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to never turn back, right? Whatever it is that you guys, only you and God know, spoke about and agreed to when you were in your wilderness. When that door opens, if you forget, if we forget, the consequences will be major. And see, the thing is, and I'm guilty of this. Lord knows I'm guilty of this. Thinking that we're ready when we're really not. And the only reason why we think that we're ready is because we're going off a limited mindset of what we think it's going to be. But it's going to be so major. And when you get there, it's going to be rapid acceleration. When you get there, you're going to see people who you deem to be as like way more leveled up than you and things like that. And if you're not careful, you will start shifting with these people versus shifting the room. See, God is going to give you access because you have to possess the territory, right? And that means things, people, whatever's in that territory that God is calling you to. But the enemy is going to amplify the temptation because when God takes you to certain levels and opens certain doors, because overflow is abundant, if you're not careful, you're not going to do the right thing with the overflow. You're going to start taking your overflow that's for purpose and calling, right? And then you're going to start mixing that stuff in with the room that you're in. If you've been praying for kingdom purpose partners, spouses, whatever you guys deem the term to be, and you made this pact with God, like, okay, I'm going to make sure that I don't do this with him or her until X, Y, and Z. When you get there, and you really believe that in your mind, like now, like seriously, you really believe like I'm all, I'm disciplined up, blase, blase. But see, that pressure isn't on you now because you're in the wilderness. But when you're released and you get to these areas and that pressure is on you and now everything is glitz and glamour, you're now out of the wilderness and everything is milk and honey, if you will, and overflow, and you're having a good time, and you're going to forget about God. Even though you made that promise and that pact when you was in the wilderness. But the the consequences are going to be major. Like when I was connecting spiritually this morning, it was like this feeling of, okay, we're human, right? We make mistakes. So you make a mistake and you get convicted and you get back to it, right? You make a mistake, you get convicted, you get back to it. You make a mistake, right? Not all the time, but you get my point here. But with this, when he opens the door and you break that pact that was very clear when you were in the wilderness, when you were in that season of delay, okay, I'll do whatever, just get me out of this season. If you break that pact, this is not more about conviction and you get back to it. No, because this is why you were in the wilderness that long. This is why you were in the season that long, because he knows that when he opens that door, what you're up against. He knows that there's a very good chance that you're going to, me as well, that we're going to break that covenant that we made. And so this season of wilderness and this season of delay and everything that so many people are going into, this is because he's really strengthening your flesh. Because you can say with your mouth all day long, oh, when I get there, I'm not going to do this. You listen. Listen, we can barely stay on our diets. We can barely stay committed to working out. Like, we can say anything with our mouths, right? But when we get there, because this thing is destiny and because this thing is like so beautiful and so great and everything that we deserve, he want to be sure that we're so disciplined. And if it takes 25 years in the wilderness, he want to be sure that we're so disciplined that we got all the downloads we need. It's almost like a contract. Listen, you can say whatever. I'm telling you. Sign this contract. If you mess up, I'm sending you back to the wilderness and I'm turning my back from you. Because I kept you this long. You begged to get up out of this wilderness. And I know I got you here. But you say you're ready. You want to fight against my time and say that you're ready? Then, all right, boo, I got you. I'm going to open this door. I'm going to open this door. Mess up if you want to. You better stay connected. You better stay disciplined. You better follow those convictions before you get yourself in trouble. Like, you better be on it, right? Because you said you're ready. So to those of you who have been in the season like me, where you fought against time and you felt like, what are you doing? I mean, I got everything. I'm ready. Why are you showing me this? And I got to sit here and wait in a wilderness. Thank God I'm out of the wilderness season. I'm finally in the due season with open doors. But even with the open doors and being in the beginning of due season, because there's still levels in due season, right? Even being in due season, I see how it's easy to revert back. I see that if you mess around and skip one conviction, if you mess around and not be so disciplined and staying in that word or whatever your connecting time is, if you get off track with that, like you need to really make sure you got like a really good routine. Let it be a morning routine, night, I don't know, probably all day, right? If you mess around and slip and allow any entry point where you're not connected, Satan's going to take over fully. And the consequences will be major. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.